Imagine bringing a species back from extinction in your country, only to then throw it into the lion's den. Well, in this case, the tiger's den. That's pretty much what's happening with Project Cheetah, one of the most ambitious conservation efforts on the planet. And its next chapter? Oh, it's by far the riskiest one yet.
So that leads us to the big question, right? Have we just given India's cheetahs a new home, or have we led them into their most dangerous one? Because this isn't just another sanctuary. It's a whole new level of wild, and it's a total game changer for the entire project.
You see, up until now, the reintroduction has happened in these carefully managed, almost safe environments. Think of them as predator-free zones where the cheetahs could get their bearings without any immediate major threats. But that's all about to change. We're moving from a sanctuary to a potential battleground, a place where these cheetahs will have to fight for their survival from day one.
All right, so let's get acquainted with this new territory. This is the Nauradehi Wildlife Sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh, and it's officially set to become the third home for cheetahs in India, right after Kuno National Park and the Gandhi Sagar Sanctuary.
And this is where it gets real. We're not talking about a few stray predators. We're talking about a thriving, established ecosystem of apex predators. I mean, just look at this lineup. An established population of around 25 tigers, leopards, packs of Indian wolves, and wild dogs. And yeah, even crocodiles in the waterways. This is the very first time these reintroduced cheetahs will have to face their ancient rivals head-on.
So you're probably thinking, wait, why on earth would they do this? Why move these cheetahs from a relatively safe place into a landscape packed with predators? Well, it turns out it's all part of a much bigger and honestly, a much more audacious conservation plan.
It all boils down to this simple, age-old idea. Think about it. What if some contagious disease broke out in Kuno? It could potentially wipe out the entire cheetah population in India in one catastrophic event. By spreading them out, you're creating a safety net, a really crucial buffer against disaster.
Now, the scientific strategy behind this is called building a meta-population. The best way to think of it is this. We're not just building one isolated cheetah city. We're building a whole network of cheetah towns and villages that are all connected. This allows them to eventually move between locations, find new mates, and keep their gene pool fresh, diverse, and healthy for the long haul.
So, the key takeaway here is that this was the plan all along. Kuno was the essential first step, the foundation. Gandhi Sagar was the second piece of the puzzle. And now, Nauradehi is that critical third pillar, the one designed to create a really robust and interconnected future for India's cheetahs. So, how exactly do you turn a wild, predator-filled sanctuary into a home fit for cheetahs? Well, it's a monumental task, and believe it or not, the work is already well underway. The first step is a major financial commitment. We're talking 4 crore rupees, or about $500,000 which has been approved just to get things started. That's a serious investment, and it really shows how dedicated the Indian government and the NTCA are to making this ambitious next phase a success.
And that money is being put to very good use. They're basically building a state-of-the-art cheetah welcome center. We're talking dedicated quarantine zones to make sure the new arrivals are healthy, a massive soft-release enclosure called a boma, where they can get used to their new surroundings, and miles of secure fencing to manage their initial release.
And trust me, they're going to need all that space. Nauradehi is massive, spanning over 2,000 square kilometers. To put that into perspective for you, that's bigger than the entire city of London. It's a vast, wild landscape with a strong prey base, absolutely perfect for a growing cheetah population to roam free. But creating this wilderness isn't just about building fences and enclosures. It's also about people. 13 villages that are currently inside the core zone are being voluntarily relocated. This is to create a completely undisturbed habitat for the cheetahs. It's a huge undertaking, and it shows the incredible commitment of the local communities to this project.
To really get why this next step is such a monumental achievement, we need to take a quick step back in time. Because this isn't just about moving a few animals around. It's about rewriting a really painful chapter of India's ecological history. So, the Asiatic cheetah was officially declared extinct in India way back in 1952. For 70 long years, they were just gone. Then, in 2022, the reintroduction began with 8 cheetahs flown in from Namibia. That was followed by a second group of 12 from South Africa in 2023. And with that, the clock started ticking on one of conservation's boldest experiments ever.
So, where are we now? Well, After some initial and, let's be honest, expected bumps in the road, the population has not only stabilized but is starting to thrive. From those initial 20 cheetahs that were brought from Africa, the population in India now stands at 27. It's a small number, but it's a hugely significant victory for the project.
And here's the most incredible part, the fact that really proves this project is working. Of those 27 cheetahs, a stunning 16 were born right here on Indian soil. That means we now have more Indian-born cheetahs than the original surviving adults we brought from Africa. That is a massive milestone and a sign that these animals are truly making India their home again.
Okay, so with Nauradehi getting ready to open its gates, the big question is, who are these pioneering cheetahs going to be? Where will the first residents of this new, wilder home actually come from?
Well, there are two main strategies on the table. The first is to bring in a completely new batch of cheetahs directly from Africa, which would establish a fresh genetic line at Nauradehi. The second option is to move some of the now-grown India-born cubs from Kuno, letting them establish their own territories in the new sanctuary.
And get this, we have some breaking news on that front. It looks like the first option is already in motion. A new batch of 8 cheetahs has just been captured in Botswana and is getting ready for their big move to India. This isn't some far-off plan, it's happening right now. The next chapter is literally about to begin.
You know, ultimately, Project Cheetah was never just about bringing back a single iconic species. It was always about restoring a lost piece of India's natural heritage, about restoring a balance. And now, as these cheetahs prepare to step into a world of tigers, leopards, and wolves, we're left with one profound question. In this new, modern wilderness, can these ancient rivals finally learn to coexist?